things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. So during the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we're making back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. And I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we're making back up. I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. Let me turn the audio down just a tad so it doesn't echo through the mic. So it's been a weekend for us. I actually got a fair amount accomplished. As you can tell, I got a few videos out. As I was telling Patreon, because I did a Patreon video today for the, I'm not going to tell you what for. You'll know soon enough, but I did make a Patreon video today, and I told them that I was keeping YouTube out of the loop for now, but that's okay. It's for you anyway, so you're the ones going to benefit from it. So, however, you know, trying to get Patreon a little bit over there for them. So, which I got a lot of stuff coming for them, just as much as I've got a lot of stuff coming for you guys. So I did, like I said, manage to get quite a bit done. And like I told Patreon in the video, which I was getting ready to tell you, is that what I had to do, the biggest thing, if you've ever had to do something like whatever it is you have to do with a room full of stuff, right? You've got an entire room filled full of stuff, and before you can actually work in a manner which is productive, you have to be able to work through enough of the stuff to make enough space for you to be able to work productively. I'm sure many of you have been in a position similar to that before, and that's the position I was in, both with time and space and mental capacity and everything. I was pretty much at my limits of all of it, and so I had to be able to make a little bit of space so I could have room to work, and that's where I'm at. I've got room to work, so I'm going to be kicking some stuff out. Like with the Patreon video today, it was a matter of literally grabbing my Pocket 2, clipping on my mic, turning it on, turning the Pocket 2 on, and shooting the video. No editing, no nothing. Brought the SD card over to the computer, transferred the file to my computer, uploaded it to YouTube. I was done. Audio's good, video's good. That is what I was after. So get ready, because there's a lot of stuff coming. A lot of stuff. So anyway, I think I pretty well covered updates. I don't know of anything to throw out there that you don't already know about. So pretty well covered on everything, I think, as far as what we've got going on. So the subject tonight. You guys know that I've been on this kick, and it's been getting stronger and stronger and stronger, of calling out bullshit. I'm just gonna say it. And I look at it a lot like faith. I look at prepping a lot like faith. There is no half-assing it. You're either all in or you're not. And if you're all in, that takes work. Period. There's no way around that. There's no way around that. And you'll hear me refer a lot to, namely channels, but this goes for individuals too, that will go and read a couple of pages on the internet, and that's it. They know all they need to know. Man, it is so easy to get misled. So easy. Let me give you an example, okay? I got a couple of notes down here. Because there are some important points that I think I need to make so that people understand where I'm coming from. Now, first off, before we even get to that part of it, let me tell you a little bit of a story about when I was younger. And I think I've shared at least part of this story before on the show. So, when I was younger, I was crazy, wild, out partying a lot and stuff like that. I met up with this young lady, and we hung out for the day and had an incredibly fun time. And there was clearly an interest there on both parties and each other. And so we spent more time together. And we wound up spending days, actually, probably about 3-4 days. And so she needed to go home. She had some stuff with her, because I think she was staying at a friend's when I met her, and she had some stuff with her. And but she needed to go and go home and swap out clothes and stuff like that. So no problem. Well, turned out her and her family were temporarily living in a motel room because their house burned down. Okay, it gets real stupid. So they were staying in a motel. So I took her where they were staying, pulled up, parking lot, parked. She got out. She went in, and in a matter of moments, my car was swarmed with police officers. And I'm like, what the hell? And so they spoke with me, and I watched them as they went and retrieved her and put her in a car and took her away. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell's going on here? And so they asked me if I'd come up and make a statement. So I went up to the department. I wasn't under arrest or anything like that. I went up, department made a statement. I'm talking directly to the county sheriff. And, this girl had, I don't know how it came up, but this girl had said that she was of legal age. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't go around asking people, that's a hell of a first date thing, right? Excuse me, can I see your ID? Yeah. So, and if you do that, you're sick. But anyway, so I just assumed that she was of a legal age. And she was close. She was a week away. So, anyway, he kept insisting that I knew that she wasn't quite of legal age. And I'm like, no, I didn't know. And I didn't. Honest to God, didn't. And he looked at me and he said, listen, son, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And I knew at that point, with his tone of voice, his look in his eyes, that the man was as real as it gets. And so I met him with the tone and with the same look and told him, I'm telling you, I'm giving you my word that I had no idea. Sir, I will defend my word with my life. Do we have an understanding? That is literally what I said to him. And he's like, you understand you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And I'm like, you damn right. So, remember that to those individuals out there that want to call me out. You can't bullshit a bullshitter. You can't. I've been down that road, lived that life. So, now that we got that out of the way, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of how you will be completely misled on something, and chances are I have no idea. But I can prove it. So, there's a lot of individuals out there that are in, we'll say, the faith business. Okay? And I'm speaking about anything from what you can turn on your cable TV to even some prepping YouTube channels that claim to be basking in the glory and benefits of God. Followers, true followers of Yeshua are not supposed to be living in a prosperous manner. What? Blasphemy! They're not. Tell me which disciple had riches. And then tell me what Yeshua said to them before they set out on their journey with him. And then try to tell me again about how you're supposed to be a follower of Yeshua and be prosperous and reap the benefits of the earth. Right? Not convincing enough yet? Okay. Who inherits the earth? Who does the Bible say inherits the earth? Those that are prosperous and basking? No. The meek. Meek. Like the disciples. The followers of Yeshua. See how easily man is manipulated? And I'm not necessarily calling that channel out. But to be honest, he probably doesn't even realize it. Probably doesn't even realize it. Reads the same book I do. Lukewarm. You're either all in or you're not. Prepping's the same way. Let me give you another example. This right here is a Leatherman Super Tool 300. Cost me roughly $100, just shy, I believe. Okay? This Leatherman Super Tool 300 cost me just shy of $100, but is worth $1 million in my hand. It's worth $1 million in this hand. Why? Because I know how to use it. This same almost $100 tool is worthless in the hands of somebody who doesn't. Okay? So we can go out, we can buy all this gear, we can go out and we can use our channels to pimp all the flashlights we want so that we can make a little bit of cash from people that are spending more money on a flashlight than they probably should, when they should be probably putting, you know, some money towards food or something like that. And instead, we're encouraging them to buy overpriced flashlights and knives and all that kind of stuff, you know, because we're here for the people, right? We're here to help. Motive. It is absolutely important that before anything else, you understand somebody's motive. And if it's money, you need to register that. Plain and simple, these are just facts. The things I'm telling you are just facts. People don't like facts. You know what it is? People don't like to be stopped dead in their tracks when they try to bullshit others. Are you starting to understand why I'm saying I'm not lukewarm yet? Because I haven't even fucking gotten started. Don't worry, it's not all coming tonight. Don't worry, not all coming tonight. There is a responsibility to this. Literally, people's lives are in the hands of individuals that are out here trying to lead and help other individuals be able to survive. That is not something that should be handled with a lukewarm mindset. Period. I made that prepper closet video, and I said there are some things we don't discuss on this channel because we don't, for a multitude of reasons. But one, not my specialty. You won't hear me go into detail about ham radio and communications because it's not my job. Now, I covered it and all that, but not once did you hear me push for you to get a license. Not once. It's your choice. Yeah, go for it. If you've got the time, the money, the extra mental capacity and all that to be able to focus on that, go for it. I'm definitely not discouraging the idea, but it's not a priority. Right? Trust me, that dude that's trying to steal your can of peaches is going to be really fucking impressed by your ham license. Really impressed. But anyway, what I digress, I guess. No, I don't. No, I don't. We can't accept this, folks. Just like this insane craziness that are happening from the leftists, we have to put our foot down. We have to grow a set, and we have to stop being lukewarm, and we have to put our foot down and say enough is enough. Now, if I got to be the first horrible guy to put my foot down and say enough is enough, I will. I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I've been hated my entire life by most of the fucking people that I've ever encountered. Why? Because I refuse to let them bullshit me. You want to live a lonely life? Refuse to let people bullshit you. Call them out on the spot, in their face, every time. It's not that I want to be a jerk. It's that I have enough self-respect that I'm not going to sit there and let you lie to my face. And if others are too weak for that, that's on you. I was raised to be a man. I can't. We can't say that we're upset at this whole leftist agenda and all that to demanize men, right? To demasculate men, and at the same time hold men back and no, don't be a man, that might be offending, don't be a man. Which is the other point that I was going to bring up on this subject before we get into the headlines, because we got a lot of them. This country is built on symbolism. That's all this nation is anymore, is symbolism. We say we care about things when we really don't. We say we're going to do things when we're really not. How many people go on and on and on about how they support the troops? How many of those people have actually done something physical, tangible, actionable to support the troops? I will bet you that less than 10% of the people that say they support the troops have done something actionable to support the troops. And I would be willing to stake money I don't even have on that one. Because that's another thing that I understand about all of this through that working experience that I was talking about on my Prepper Closet video. I've been involved in internet and social media type of interaction since I got on the internet over 20 years ago. I know how this works. I know how it works with the internet. I know how it works with people. I understand all this analytical stuff. The difference is I don't care. I'm not out to kiss people's asses. I'm not out to sit there and candify everything to where it's acceptable and palatable to you. If you can't take the information for what it is from a broken person like me, then you're not meant to hear the information. Because I ain't perfect, you ain't perfect, nobody's perfect, and I know that I rub people wrong. Probably a good part of that rubbing people wrong is trying to get them to move. Best thing my dad ever did for me was be a prick. If my dad wouldn't have tried with all his might to be as much of a prick as what I could be, and we were pretty matched, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I'm just straight up. I would be a worthless piece of shit Fact. Because I see what happened to family members that didn't take dad's influence. It's just saying about me, but I'm just, there's a reason I tick the way I do. Because I see through it all. See through the symbolism. I see through the lies. See through the games. All I want is the same thing that you hear so many other people say they want, which is just to live peacefully and be able to do what you want, and blah, 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 without harming others and blah, 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 blah. But I mean it. I actually mean it, right? I'm not wanting to try to do whatever the left is wanting to do to shut up the right. On the same token, I'm not excited about the prospect that, states are passing laws that will allow me to get out of legal recourse if I run over a protester, right? It's ridiculous. And it's not hard to see through. You just gotta want to, and it depends a lot on self-discipline and morality. That it has a lot to do with morality, but it takes a lot of self-discipline as well. You can't let groups of people yank your emotions around. We all have feelings about things. We can't let those feelings rule the logic. I mean, I can't believe that somebody can actually be blackened enough in their heart to be even remotely okay with the idea of running over any other human being unless they're actually actively trying to bring harm to them. Blocking a highway is not actively trying to bring harm to an individual. And I know, here's the fear-mongering. Do you see what they're doing? Beating on the cars and hitting it with the... Yeah, sometimes they do. Right? Sometimes they do. And if those protesters are doing that wind up getting shot in the face, that's on them. Right? But not all the protesters are doing that block the highways. And I'm not saying I agree with blocking the highways. Don't twist me or nothing. Follow me out here. Okay? I can't see how you can in any way justify somebody blocking a road in protest with being able to run them over. You can't. That's an extremist mindset. It's beyond extremist. It's at a point to where you need to be looked at as a threat. If you're willing to possibly take somebody's life, another person's life, or at the very least cause them great bodily harm because you don't like their message, do you even freedom, bro? First Amendment, bro? No habla constitutione? Because I'm just saying. Symbolism. Don't go out there talking about how you stand for the Constitution and at the same time giggle at the thought of running protesters over that are blocking the interstate or the highway or whatever. That's not a constitutionally sound mind. Symbolism. It's destroyed us. Absolutely destroyed us. Right? Look at what's going on. We're letting psychology, legitimize mental illness. And demand you support it on the level that they are making laws that can criminalize you unless you do support it. And do you think the government really cares about these people? Nope. But they know the symbolism of what they're doing will get these people to back and defend them no matter what, and get as many people to vote as possible. They don't care about these people. Look at how they throw them under the bus. Look at how fast they're old news. They don't care about them. And the same is true on the other side. Red team cheerleaders don't care about the cheer squad. They don't. Fact. They're there to get your vote, and essentially what they're there for is to make money. So, I'm not saying that there aren't people that enter public service, that don't have good intentions. I firmly believe. I know there's people that enter public service with good intentions. But by the time they can get anywhere to do anything, they've either become corrupted or have been neutered. One of the two, because that's the way the machine works. And that's why I keep saying over and over and over and over, we can't vote our way out of this mess. The machine is so broken, votes can no longer fix it. The machine has to have all of its parts disassembled, all of its parts replaced with new parts, cleaned, lubricated, inspected, and restarted. It's what you would do with an engine, right? Rings went bad in an engine, you would do the same thing, right? You strip it apart, strip all the parts out of it. Yeah. Everything in life, we do that. Why aren't we doing it with our government? Because they won't let us. A lot of things they won't let us do. The ones that are supposed to consent to their governance. It's all symbolism. And I'm ready to put a stop to it whenever you all are. But you got to stop fighting amongst each other first. You got to stop finding reasons with people's religious beliefs or nationalities or race or whatever. And I don't think the race thing is nearly an issue as much as things like religion. But race is what the media pushes. But in reality, the biggest issue is probably, as far as types of discriminations, probably religious. So, in reality, they don't want you talking about the truth. They want you to talk about these fake symbolic things that they throw out there for us to keep us at each other while they get away with doing whatever they want. Crazy. Anyway, let's do some headlines. I'll get out of here. I'm serious, If you're going to do this, if you're going to get into prepping, understand that you need to know how to use this stuff. Okay? Don't just watch a YouTube channel where somebody makes a review video of something and okay, I gotta have it, and then go out and buy it and never use it, don't know anything about it or anything, never take it out of the box, right? One of the things that pissed me off most, and I'll call them out, one of the things that pissed me off most about Prepper Nurse 1, and this ate at me, man. This ate at me. So he had a subscriber send him an expensive radio, right? I'm thinking it was a Yazoo, it was a nice radio. And sent him an expensive radio. And now, you probably don't know him like I know him. And that's all good. I understand that. Just remember, Hollywood has actors, and YouTube does too. Okay? And so, we're talking an expensive radio. And I think, out of just mere appreciation, I would have at least read the fucking manual, or something. I would have learned how to use it. I would have nothing. None. And I know for a fact myself that at least over a year went by. None. And I kept trying to explain to him, dude, communication is key. Communication is key. No, I didn't tell him he had to go out and get his license. I just told him that he needed to know how to use that radio. He needed to try to get some type of communication set up when his daughter went to college. That way, since he was sticking her on a fucking bike to get back home, good luck. And, it might be a good idea to have a communication plan set up. But no, it was too much work to learn how to use that radio. Cannot bullshit a bullshitter. You can try. All you're going to do is frustrate me and insult my intelligence. And in return, frustrate yourself, because I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. I'm done with that. Time's ticking, folks. We can either continue on in this circle jerk and get nowhere, or we can get to business. I want to help people be able to survive. I get that I'm not personable. I get that I'm not a basket full of roses. Do you want to live, or do you want to be entertained? That choice is yours, as well as the consequences. I suck at entertainment. I can teach you a whole hell of a lot. Anyway. Oops. There we go. Yeah, a sip of tea and a couple of vapes here before we get started. By the way, it's not coincidental that bullshitters are popular YouTube channels, because it kind of goes... I could do it. I can charm a snake. I promise. Trust me. I can charm a snake. I don't want to. I lived a life of that. Okay? And it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to manipulate people. It's wrong. Can't bullshit a bullshitter. Probably can't manipulate a manipulator either, right? Yeah. Not proud of my life, man. But I made changes. And I'm not the same person I used to be. Not here to entertain. I'm just here to be real, bring you news, try to help. All right, starting out with news from Friday. Twitter suspends vaccine skeptic group after it claims it obtained another 3,000 pages of Fauci emails in a FOIA request. Surprise, surprise, huh? It's crazy how... It's crazy. It's really crazy. Hey, and I think I shared it out, but Ted Cruz spoke up something about how people ought to start suing Facebook over their censorship, their government, more or less their government requested censorship. And I got to thinking about that. If the government is telling them to censor stuff, that might turn that into a true First Amendment argument. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, that's in the headlines. We'll get to that. Let's see. Australian quarantine hotel evacuates entire floor amid fears 2-year-old and mother spread COVID-19 into a hall during testing. Yikes, yikes. 2 flu strains may have gone extinct due to COVID suppression measures, a report claims. That's good news. I mean, that's not nothing to sneeze at. Hardy, har. Anyway, that is awesome. That is awesome. And it would be awesome, if even more awesome, if we could eradicate even more of the flus. Why would that be a bad thing? Embattled Japan donates more than 1 million COVID-19 shots to Taiwan, doubling Taipei's vaccine stocks. Europe loses 3 times more from sanctions than Russia, says Banca Intensa chair. Vietnam approves China's Sinopharm coronavirus vaccine as country sees infections uptick. Again, we're still on Friday stuff. Actions, not promises, required to restore nuclear deal, says Iran's supreme leader. Germany warns EU cannot work if member states keep obstructing policy as Hungary once again blocks statement condemning China. Russia's compliance with OPEC Plus oil production deal close to 100%, says a former energy minister. Budapest's use of Russia's Sputnik 5 paid off despite EU's attempt to politicize the vaccine, Hungarian foreign minister, oh goodness, I can't even attempt that. How do you say an S and a Z? Yeah. How do you say SZIJJARTO? How that would hurt even trying, man. I'd probably like pull my tongue out of socket or something, I think. Jeez, how would you say that? That has so got me curious. A Belarusian opposition decries state TV interview with hostage Protasevich as jailed activist voices fear of extradition to Donbass. Calais migrant camp dismantled by police after early morning raid as number of channel crossings to Britain skyrockets. Kremlin says Putin and Biden summit very, very important, but warns little prospect of a reset and a high chance of disagreement. Qatar and Russia ink over 65 agreements at Economic Forum in St. Petersburg. Australian medic organizations fined for contempt of court for breaching gag order over Cardinal's sex abuse charges. South Korean Air Force chief resigns over suicide of female sergeant whose complaint of sexual harassment was ignored. Musk tweets cryptic message suggesting breakup with Bitcoin, prompting Twitter to erupt with memes. Still on Friday. Beijing urges Taipei to refrain from political manipulation and allow Taiwanese people access to Chinese COVID-19 vaccines. Couple of vapes here. First stretch of Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline completed on Friday morning, Putin reveals, despite vehement U.S. objections to scheme. Toppled Edward Colston statue, complete with preserved graffiti, is on display at a Bristol museum alongside BLM signs. UK regulator approves Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for children as young as 12. Sheriff attacked by... I'm just reading the headline. I'm going to try to read the headline. Sheriff attacked by a flying dildo riding a drone. I'm just the messenger, yo. And it wasn't me. There's one way that you know that this was not me. Okay? Because there is no way in hell that I could stop laughing enough to even fly the drone. So, you know it wasn't me. Come to Russia and get a jab. Putin orders government to plan to allow foreigners to obtain COVID-19 vaccines on arrival in country. Setting up for failure, WHO calls on rich countries to share COVID-19 vaccines. Global economy back in the saddle, but uneven recovery poses risks, says Putin. As Russia-EU relations become even more strained, new poll reveals big majority of Germans desire closer, relationship with Moscow. Team behind Russia's Sputnik 5 says big pharma campaign to discredit COVID-19 jab behind lower levels of vaccination in the country. German Archbishop offers resignation to Pope over the catastrophe of sexual abuse within the Catholic Church. Another place, by the way, where we see nothing but symbolism in every aspect of it. But I'm speaking to this issue with this sex abuse problem. Right? And the symbolism that the people care. Right? I mean, look at the people that you have that are so willing to profit off of human trafficking and all this stuff, so willing to profit off of it in one way or another. But how many of those individuals are actually concerned with stopping it? But you got all kinds of authors now that take up writing books on the subject. I lost my favorite authors. I did. Right? I don't hold anything against Franklin Horton, but that's where he went. He went writing a book series about human trafficking and stuff like that because that's what people want. Well, I've kind of got an issue with that. For one, I kind of have an issue with writing the books just to make a profit off of such a horrific thing, right, that just happens to be mainstream right now. Why? Because of the symbolism. It's a fad to say that you support this or that, during this or that time. And now it's, it's ridiculous. I'm still waiting to see the dude walk out with the flute that's got everybody so mesmerized. Google apologizes after listing ancient language spoken by 40 million people as ugliest in India. Switzerland prepares to remove pandemic restrictions from vaccinated citizens with COVID certificates. Alarm in Siberia as Tuvan village goes into quarantine after 29-year-old local suspected to have rare and deadly anthrax disease. Putin says Russia's climate and environment sector may see annual review of $50 billion. Sorry, missed the billion on the second line. That's a little mistake, right? Think if I was your banker and you just deposited $50 billion and I missed the billion. You'd have been pleased. We should be doing this too. Brits get envious of Denmark after Copenhagen passes bill to deport asylum seekers for processing. Let's see. Are they racist? Let's see. Indian... No. Let's see. Indian police seize 6 kilos of uranium, arrest 7 as anti-terrorism probe reportedly launched. Stonewall shakedown, LGBT... let me try that again. Too many letters anymore. LGBT charity warns government to call mothers parents who give birth. Let me restart this, because I'm missing it. Stonewall shakedown. LGBT charity wants government to call mothers parents who gave birth or risk exclusion from the equality list. Okay, now I'm putting it... I wasn't mentally putting it in the right context. I mean, this is absolutely so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And the answer is no. I'm not changing my language. I'm not changing my lifestyle. I'm not changing my morals. I'm not changing the things I value or the things I don't value. I'm not changing a damn thing. Period. Like I was saying earlier about we need to step up and start calling out these prepper channels. Just like we need to stand up and start calling out the lukewarm, quote-unquote, Christians, because they're not all Christians, okay? We have to stand. Or let them run us over. Whichever you want. I mean, we did the red team let them run us over thing for, decades now. Can we stand up, please? Please? EU looked at importing 70 million Africans by 2035, says German MEP Gunnar Beck, denouncing disastrous new migration pact. EU submits proposal to WTO to expand global COVID vaccine supply as countries demand IP rights waiver. So on Friday, by the way, EU officially bans Belarusian carriers from its airspace and airports over Ryanair forced landing. UK and EU competition watchdogs launched twin antitrust inquiries into Facebook over platform's use of ad data. That inquiries word was behind a microphone cable. With one eye, that is. Facebook suspends Trump's account for 2 years following oversight board report. Nigeria suspends Twitter's operations indefinitely after president's tweet removed from platform. What I think is ridiculous is who is allowed to do what and who's not allowed to do what. Anybody notice that? Right? Did the IDF get their tweets, whatever. Did the IDF get their tweets removed when they were tweeting missiles and stuff as they were bombing people? No? But I thought Twitter was a leftist haven. No. I mean, it is. But it's mainly an agenda haven, which really isn't left or right. It's got a little of both in it, which is how they got us here. A shocking video shows mob beating Indian doctor after death of COVID patient. Cop arrested for shooting child in the head with a taser for interrupting fellow officers. Not just a child, it was his own son. His own son. Shot his son in the head with a taser because he interrupted them. Biden defends Fauci after Senator Hawley joins GOP calls for White House medical chief to resign or be fired. Putin expects to discuss ways to fix Russia-U.S. relations, disarmament, and COVID-19 during first talks with Biden in Geneva. Still on the 4th. Still on the 4th. Well, that's true. We're still on Friday, by the way. World Bank suspends payments to Mali in bid to put pressure on military junta after latest coup. The next time I'm in the White House, no more dinners with Zuckerberg. Trump blasts Facebook ban and drops massive 2024 run hit. Indian COVID-19 variant rise in England's infections, government stats agency suggests. Sputnik 5 expected. Oh, he can scroll news. Well, good for you. I'm glad you can. The important part is being able to discern it. That is the important part. You're right. Anybody can scroll the news. But more and more as time goes by, people can't discern it. That's a thing. Sputnik 5 expected to get WHO authorization in next couple of months. Distributor of Russian vaccine to RT. White House Psaki basks in adulation from social media stars at virtual briefing, but viewers fail to tune in. Minneapolis rioter forgets name of man whose behalf he's rioting. Once reminded, he declares on camera, "Remember that name." I'm telling you, symbolism. Symbolism. Right? Symbolism. Pentagon rejects push to end policy prohibiting pride flags at bases despite having Biden as new commander-in-chief, says a report. USA Today fights to quash FBI subpoena demanding readers' data amid probe into shooting that killed 2 agents. So, if you even visited this news article during a certain time period, the FBI is demanding your IP address. Can we say witch hunt? I'm pretty sure I shared out this article, to be pretty honest. I'm like real damn positive I did. I remember sharing it out. So I don't know if I was on the site during the time. That I have no idea. But really? Tell me this isn't real. U.S. Army strikes again with cringe horoscope social media ad. Selective enforcement. Biden's ICE told they can drop cases against illegal migrants amid 1.3 million backlog. Yeah, but you know what they can't do? They can't just ship out people's FOID cards in the state of Illinois because of a huge backlog, because they have the constitutional right to be able to protect themselves. No, they can't do that, but, hey, you're free. Scientists who helped lead charge in squelching COVID-19 lab leak theory backtracks, points to disturbing information, says the media. Canada's PM says 2022 Beijing Olympics will offer chance to pressure China on human rights issues. Brazilian regulator gives conditional approval to Russia's Sputnik 5 COVID-19 vaccine after delay Moscow blamed on U.S. pressure. Same hype, different day. Beijing says U.S. reporter pushing COVID lab leak theory also fueled debunked Iraq WMD narrative. Surprise, surprise. But I do think it was a lab leak. So, and I think pretty much so does everybody else. Anybody that's paying attention and wants to know the truth, I think they've already figured it out. We were saying it when peak prosperity, Chris Matheson, when he explained, he did a very good job of explaining it, and it became very, very clear, very, very quickly that this was manipulated. It was definitely manipulated in a lab. It was made to, in some ways, mimic HIV. Okay? That's not by accident. That's not by accident. Now, anything else would be complete speculation. Whether it was on purpose, on accident, whatever, But that's what I mean by discerning the news. See, I could have just read that headline, right? But that headline kind of puts people in the mindset that, people that think it came out of a lab are conspiracy theorists. No, they're not. But that headline would kind of make you think that. That's why it's important not just to be able to scroll the news. More important to be able to discern it. Right, and if you think a lot of people can do that, then Why do so many people watch mainstream news? Now, most people here will understand easily that mainstream news is bullshit. Yeah, so is a lot of your alternative news too. Most of it. It's politically motivated, it's agendized by money. You mix money and agenda and all that, and you're not going to get the truth because people don't have the self-discipline today. People are too greedy. They want what they want, even if they have to cheat to get it. The news isn't immune to that. Russia to complete Pakistan stream gas pipeline in 2025, says the energy minister. Oh, we're on Saturday's news. When did that happen? Oh, it just happened. Okay. Sorry, I missed that one. So we are on Saturday. Chinese military has its own UFO task force, and it's been overwhelmed by surge in sighting reports, says the media. This is common. It's not necessarily copycats that are calling in all the reports. To be honest, it's a lot of crazy people. I'm not saying nobody's seeing anything. I'm not saying I don't believe in UFOs. I absolutely believe in UFOs. Beyond believe in UFOs. But, yeah. There's a lot of people that like attention. So. Departing technology, cash going way of the dodo, will be replaced by digital money in coming decades, says Russian central bank. Well, that's interesting, especially considering the announcement from Brazil, and we'll get to that here in a bit. Missed delivery. Why does Amazon, the company that sells nearly everything, nearly everywhere, do next to no business in Russia? I don't know. Russia-China trade turnover may reach $200 billion by 2024, Putin says. Playing with fire, Beijing blasts Western nations over candlelit vigils at Hong Kong consulates on Tiananmen Square anniversary. A bipartisan Congress group urges Biden to immediately evacuate Afghans who helped U.S. forces as full withdrawal deadline looms. TikTok owner blasts anti-competitive rival after top executive bemoans brainwashing pig feed short video content. I hope you caught all that, because I doubt I could say it over again that easily. Muslim neighborhoods in British towns are no-go areas for white people, a new book claims. Get a grip, UK Met Police ripped for intersectional post hailing queer people of color. Again, we just have to say no. Not no, they can't live how they want to live. Absolutely live how you want to live. Go have sex with a ceiling fan. I don't care. Leave me out of it. Don't force me or try to force me to accept it. Don't try to force my kids to learn about it. Go screw your ceiling fan and be happy. Because that's what makes you happy, right? Or is forcing something against my will what really making you happy? But you can't have that control. No. Britain strikes post-Brexit trade deal with Norway. By the way, I'll repeat again, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Britain strikes post-Brexit trade deal with Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. Liechtenstein. That might be a little close. UK delivery man wins workplace discrimination case after Scottish manager called him English prick. And? What if he was? It's happening and it's probably spreading. Canadian health officials baffled by mystery deadly brain disease. I kind of read that article and it was a little weird. Very weird. So let's hope that stays there. I hope. I will say this. Tuck this news article in the back of your head just in case. I hope it's for nothing. But just tuck it back there. Cum Rocket crypto coin pumps after Elon Musk tweets suggestive emojis. I'm just reading you the news. Southerners were the first victims of American imperialism and have been slandered, claim the sons of Confederate veterans. I think there's a lot of that going on. I mean, this whole thing with the Civil War and what we're all made to believe that it was about. It really put that heavy focus on slavery. And slavery wasn't the heavy focus. You can read that in history, in actual history, not people's opinions of history, but the actual documented history. Man, there was a lot more to it than slaves, and the primary reason was money, currency. That was the primary reason. Number one. Look it up. Look it up. G7 finance ministers reach historic agreement on Biden's push for global minimum corporation tax of 15%. We're still on Saturday's news yesterday. India issues last notice to Twitter, urging it to comply with new digital information rules or face unintended consequences. Garbage will never end. Russia bets on waste-to-energy plants. Twitter suspends progressive feminist author Naomi Wolf after slew of tweets opposing COVID-19 vaccinations. Please get your vaccine. British tennis legend Murray hails that first jab feeling as critics asked if he was paid for the advert. Again, motive is everything. Rand Paul says he and his family have received death threats as a result of clashes with Fauci on COVID-19. And, by the way, we've been here since 2014. I think we can at least say we've proven by now that money is not our motivation. Just saying. I'll tell you my motivation, but I don't expect you to believe me, and I don't want you to believe me. I want you to find out. I want you to watch me and see. Turkey strikes Iraqi refugee camp that Erdogan threatened to target. Kurds say civilians were killed, says reports. You couldn't make it up if you tried. Twitter censors at home but calls access to platform a human right in Nigeria. New England's success against COVID-19 could be a model. Let's see. Justice Department says it'll no longer seize reporters' records. I was thinking about that. I think I actually got a different headline that's a little better than that one on that particular topic. U.S. economy, plenty of growth, not enough workers or supplies. Satirical site Babylon Bee demands New York Times retract defamatory attack, equating its humor to misinformation. 5 killed, 15 injured in street knife rampage in eastern China. Christian Orthodox Church demolished in Bosnia after Bosniak woman who owns the land wins a 20-year legal battle. DOJ says it will no longer, here's the other one. DOJ says it will no longer seize reporters' records as White House denies knowledge of gag order against New York Times. A German minister under fire after report the government planned to dump unusable COVID-19 masks to disabled and homeless people. Are you shocked? Right? That's just like when the whole, AstraZeneca stuff or whatever started coming up. Israel's like, we'll give that to the Palestinians. I remember. Shot heard around the world, El Salvador aims to become first nation to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender and may set global precedent. Bright eyes, people with larger pupils are smarter than those with smaller ones, new study claims. Trump triggers critics, promising in fundraising ad to retake the White House sooner than you think. Tech giants back Biden's plan to charge them more tax, but loopholes are the industry's ace in the hole. Well, that's the way it always is. And believe me, those loopholes aren't all there by chance. Some are put there. They're there for a reason, and it's for their friends, those that, fit in certain ranks to be able to use. Now, if you or I were to use those same methods and measures to try to get ahead on the tax game, they'd hang us up to dry. The sad thing is, Red Team supports it. We can't speak out against big business. Oh no. That's communism. It's communism to call out the wrongdoing of a rich person. Huh? Okay. Anonymous turns its ire to Elon Musk for Bitcoin, trolling ominously warning the billionaire to expect us. I know I butchered that headline. Waste of taxpayer money. UK police mocked online for using a 7.5-ton truck to tow away an e-scooter. That is funny. By the way, that was last night. I put that out. Another one from last night. Federal judge overturns California's assault weapons ban. Sparks liberal pushback for comparing AR-15 with a Swiss Army knife. It kind of is. Let's see. And again, this is one of those subjects that they get people emotionally riled up on, and the leftists are, oh my God, it's good. And then you get all upset when they compare it to something that it could be compared with. Yeah. So, my advice for both teams is stop letting them get you emotional. Lead you around like you wouldn't believe. And that's all they got to do is get your emotions. Man, when people control your emotions, they control you. And that's any emotion. That could be humor, that could be anger, that could be any emotion. You can control and manipulate other people if you can get a hold of any emotion. Again, it doesn't have to be anger, it doesn't have to be fear. It can be humor. And in fact, commonly is humor when it's a man trying to court a woman. I rest my case. FBI subpoenas USA Today for information on readers. China to hand out over $6 million in another digital yuan lottery. South Korean President Moon orders change to Air Force barracks culture after sexual abuse victim's suicide. Buffett and Gates are building nuclear plant in coal country. Al Jazeera condemns Israel for systematic targeting of journalists after arrest of reporter in East Jerusalem. And if you haven't figured out, we're on today's news. Let's see. Smeared, shutout, and shadow banned. The inside story of how RT was branded a foreign agent by free press-loving U.S. officials. Biden doesn't want China to play part in setting out 21st century rules for trade and technology. Russia's current supply of gold deposits should last for the next 40 years, the minister says. UK Health Minister warns it's too early to say whether COVID-19 restrictions will be lifted as planned on June 21st. Russia's forex reserves surged by $5 billion in 1 week, and this is stuff we need to be paying attention to. New officer boosts Kremlin Guard ranks, trained to lure would-be trespassers into ambush by partner using his snow-white feathers. Israeli PM Netanyahu condemns incitement from any side amid backlash against coalition set to remove him from power. Yeah, that's kind of interesting to watch unfold. So I'm not knee-deep into the politics of what's going on over there, but it appears that Netanyahu's on his way out. As far as I know. He's on his way out. So kind of interesting. I'm interested to see what happens there. Very historic times for many nations, including our own. So, and it is very interesting. Again, pull the emotions out of it. I'm not living in fear over it. I'm just looking at it for face value, what it is. It's very, very monumental historic times that we're living in. To me, that's interesting. Drones, hundreds of people and vehicles sent to block unstoppable herd of 15 elephants. I just can't speak. 15 elephants trampling Chinese towns and farmlands. Yeah, they had a hell of a time. Let's see. UN's torture expert condemns persecution of Julian Assange's efforts to free journalists ramp up ahead of G7 summit. U.S. to send Taiwan 750,000 urgently needed COVID-19 vaccine doses after Taipei rejects Beijing's help. F off Satan, MMA fighter on trial after sucking blood from wound and spitting blood at medics who found him, calling out devil. Okay. Trump critics respond to fire GOP speech by obsessing on his pants. Yeah, why not? Have I been a bad boy? CNN Stelter roundly mocked for an interview with Psaki asking what press gets wrong in Biden coverage. He's not an ally. Democrat Manchin faces ire of liberals after effectively dooming election reform bill in new op-ed. Palace Mole sending Prince William and Kate to Scotland to save UK amid fears of new Indie referendum, says reports. And, you know, that's really interesting from what I understand. I'm not gonna try to bullshit you. But I've heard it mentioned that there are like several countries that are kind of like under the thumb of the Queen in reality, that they're really under the thumb, even though they kind of make an appearance like they're really not. So again, I can't pretend to know what's all going on in these countries because I don't live there and I don't, study I don't study how their government is supposed to be, and I don't study how it really is. Okay, let me put it that way, because they are two different things, same as here in the United States. And so there are several countries, as you know, that are kind of wanting to get some distance from the UK, from the EU. They kind of want to get out of these blocks, and I get it. I get it. At some point, the costs outweigh the benefits, and I believe that that's probably been that way for a long time in these countries. So just think, the United States is a nation because we stood up and said no. It's only a matter of time before these countries do the same thing. Even though they're not necessarily directly slapped with a UK label, from my understanding, the Queen pretty well has her thumb on these other countries. So, and it seems like, I don't know, but it seems like maybe, possibly Scotland might be kind of the same way. I don't know if it's Australia or Austria, the country that I'm thinking of that the UK kind of more or less runs. I think it's Australia, but I'm not positive. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. Let's see. Ted Cruz accuses Facebook of censoring COVID-19 content on behalf of government and suggests users could sue the platform over deleted posts. I mean, it's a good question. Turkey must learn. Duo given thousands of years in jail for conspiring on match-fixing charges against football giants. And, we don't do sports stuff and all that. This was one of those headlines I kind of had to debate a little bit. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. That's pretty monumental. Thousands of years in jail? That's why I shared that, not because it was about sports. Israel to lift indoor mask requirement on June 15th, says the minister. And, wow, got 3 headlines up there since we've been doing this. Ukrainian Association of Football, that's sports, sorry. Pharma giant Merck investigates after noose found at North Carolina facility tasked to help produce Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. Well, that's newsworthy. Involving sports. Demolition stops play. Football match pauses before carrying on while huge UK power station plants collapse in the background. Oh, okay. That was in the UK. The reason I'm having an okay moment is because somebody posted on Facebook, one of the drone groups yesterday, they had some pictures of this facility and was talking about it being taken down. And I know people were asking them where it was, and I never did see the guy reply to say. So now I know. So anyway, that would be the headlines. I'm going to get out of here. And God willing, I'll be back tomorrow and do it all over again for another no bullshit, no cherry coating reality check. So anyway, I hope you all have a good night. As I said, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. Shalom.